Kevin Nash complains, would you believe? Work rate doesn't mean a bunch of moves. So he's talking about work rate, right? And
Yeah.
people have their own versions of what work rate means, so I'll
Yes.
be asking for yours in a minute. Work rate doesn't mean doing a bunch of moves. Work rate means telling a story. One of the best workers of all time was Hulk Hogan, which he was. He had a formula. And I have to edit out the swearing. You effing knew his formula. It was like paint by numbers. You watch him against The Rock in Toronto, and that's working. That's the work. The work isn't whether or not you land a moonsault. That tells me that you either spent time on a trampoline, time in one of those rooms with a trampoline that you jump on foam cubes, because when I broke in, guys didn't do that stuff. Shawn Michaels could do the flip off the top rope, but he would go up and just say, "Catch me, get a hand on me." He didn't know where the F he was going, but this effing stuff of it being a six-man tag and a guy gets stopped and the other four guys are outside fighting and a guy ends up on the top rope and just happens to flip onto the other four guys, bye, I'm gone. He's complaining, I guess, about people saying work rate only means more moves, faster moves, and more choreographed moves. What does work rate mean to you, Dutch?
Well, work rate is telling the story inside the match, and he's right. It doesn't mean more acrobatics and more moves and more off the top rope stuff. It means keeping the work consistent with the story and the flow of the match. I think that's what he means, and he's right. Because you think Gunther's going to be doing all that stuff? No, he's going to be beating the hell. That's his work rate. You know, he may take him to the corner and give a chop, and the guy staggers to another corner, and he follows him down there. And, you know, it's things that follow and mesh into one continuous, like if you put the match together, that's what he's talking about. And I think he's right. Because to me, I might as well watch tumbling or acrobatics, because a lot of that, they do this stuff and it is so orchestrated that it looks like it's put together. I mean, but you got two guys putting this together. So, you know, they've had to work on this, and while their work rate may be flawless, still, if you think about it, wait a minute, if I see a boxing match and he knocks a guy down, does the guy get up with more power and more vitality than he did before he went down? No. He gets up, and the work rate in this, if he gets knocked down, if he gets up, he's still wobbly if you're following the work rate, and that's not the finish. That's the work rate of it. But I actually agree with Kevin on this. I think he's totally 100% right.
So, you see, now that is a lost art. I'll get to what I was going to say in a minute, but that is a lost art of people reacting like a normal person would in an athletic endeavour, is that the further on in a match, the more tired you are. And for some reason, most people don't do that. They want to pretend like they're not tired at all.
Right, and I don't get that. I don't get that.
Shouldn't you be making things look like it's difficult because it is? You know what I mean?
Well, for me, when I got up and was selling something, that was because I'd blowed up. I was out, but yeah, but these guys, they're in shape. Yeah, okay, we'll give them that. They're in shape. They can do all these moves. Okay, that's great. But if you're watching it and you go, wait a minute, didn't he just get knocked down, and now he's up? He's got more power than he had before. I don't know where they learned this, but that's not the way I learned it.
So, if I was to give you...
Okay, in a movie, a guy gets hit and he goes down. But then you come back to him and he's fighting like he never got hit. So what is the purpose of it?
I see that in so many films as well, you know, where they're punching each other or, you know, pretending to punch each other, and then they'll go, psh, you know, they'll move the head or something, and then they'll just come back with a punch back, and it just goes on forever. And I hate those kinds of movie fights.
I wouldn't watch that movie again anymore. I'd hell with it. I wouldn't pay $15,000 a seat to see that.
I don't blame you. GoFundMe. Need another GoFundMe to get you fourth
Oh
row
yeah.
ringside. Right. So let me give you this, right. The dirt sheets, definitely. Your old pal Dave Meltzer might say, Dutch.
Oh my good buddy.
Your good, close, personal, long time close friend. What he would say, or what I've always imagined he would say about what work rate is, he would purely define work rate as the effort, not the storytelling, not the psychology. He would purely mean work rate as in the effort, as in how hard did the two or however many people in the ring work.
Hey, I've seen two guys work their asses off, and the people would do this. They would sit and look at them because it doesn't match the story. So you gotta, this is the two most important organs on a wrestler is the ears. Listen to the people, listen to the fans, and they'll tell you what they want. Because I used to go to the ring, an old time wrestler told me one time, he said, he didn't put it this. I say it's the temperature of the room, but he didn't call it that. But he said, feel the room, feel. And if you can feel it, they're going to buy it. So you get in the ring and you do something, and if they respond, okay, they like that. So hey, let's do it again just to check them out. And when you can get that and you can feel that, and that's not in work rate, but it is defining what work rate where you can get it, where you can really bring it to you. And I don't know what's so hard to understand about that. Dave Meltzer doesn't understand wrestling. He never has. But I think wrestling is how much, and you can listen to the fans. If they really enjoy something, they will tell you. And of course, you can tell by how many tickets you sold that night too. In Japan, they will sit there and all through all that, the quality of, the work rate they do in Japan and in Puerto Rico too. They'll sit there and just watch it like this, doon, 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 and then wait for a big chop at the end. They don't respond until that big chop is there. Ooh. Then they come up. I think the same way worldwide. And I used to work in Trinidad. It's the same deal. You do all this stuff, and they will enjoy. Not saying they don't enjoy it, but they wait to that big spot, that big shot, punch or kick or whatever, and then they will respond on that because they can see it. And and that's why the guy needs to go down, because if say a guy gives me a shot, boom, and they pop on the shot, if I hop right back up and I'm ready to go, well, the shot meant nothing. See, this is almost like a training session for a beginning wrestler. An older wrestler or one with more experience, he said, sell it. That's what they say, sell it. And that sell it means respond to it. If you get hit like that, you don't get up like you just hopped out of the bed. That when you get up like you've been stunned. And when you do that, now the people understand it a little more. I don't know. It's something you shouldn't have to explain, but you do.